Hello, everyone. We are continuing with Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, Round 2, 2025 edition. I read this before. All of the playlists are on my YouTube channel under The Science of Getting Rich. We just finished our epic playlist of Elsie Lincoln Benedict's book, How to Get Anything You Want, 94 videos, y'all. We're reading this whole book together, and I'm sharing some insights. I'll read a little bit. We're on chapter 3 already. Is opportunity monopolized? Dun, dun, dun. We'll figure it out. You are not kept poor because opportunity has been taken away from you, because other people have monopolized the wealth and have put a fence around it. You may decide not to engage in certain kinds of business, but there are other channels open to you. That is huge. I'm actually going to see in my drawer of drawings this idea that we think other people's success, when they're successful or they're wealthy or rich, and we see this all the time, people who blame very rich people, and they think that these people, their wealth, is taking away from poor people when it's not. They might not be giving to poor people, which that's their business and none of ours. And it behooves us, just like we talk about mindset work here. Why would we? People, new money is printed. By somebody earning money does not take away. If they rob you, yeah, that's another thing. But if somebody is just being successful in their business and they're providing a service, a valuable service, which, look at Amazon. I know, don't come at me, but people hate Jeff Bezos because he's so rich. But he's providing a very valuable service. Everybody uses Amazon. It makes life very easy. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but that's where the money comes from. He's providing jobs and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, other topic. But really think about that. If you're triggered by people who are really wealthy or just have so much money, more than they know what to do with, hundreds of billions of dollars, and you're like, that's just egregious. That's gross. Okay, just take a look at that. Why does it bother you? Do you think it's truly taking away from people? This is what he's saying. You are not kept poor because opportunity has been taken away from you. Now, this is how we see. This is how the majority of people see. They think that here we are living in our life and there's one pie and everybody grabs their piece of the pie and it's a race. Like, oh my God, this greedy person, look at, they have a big old piece of pie. It only leaves this much for this person. They don't have much pie. And then these poor people in the back, they're not going to have any pie because all the pie is taken. That's not how it works, but that's how we think. It's a scarcity lack mentality. This, of course, it's all metaphor, but this is how it truly is. We all have our own pie. You have your own pie, and you can take all of it or some of it. You can do whatever you want, but you have your own pie. We're raised to believe this: dog eat dog, taking from each other. There's one pie. We're all fighting over it. And if that was the case, yeah, I would be mad. But this is how it really is. Your ability to get wealthy has nothing to do with anybody else. You have a whole pie and you can have as much as you want or as little as you want. And it's no one else's responsibility or fault. And you can be a victim again of circumstance. And of course, I'm not talking about if you've been flat out robbed and cheated. But even then, you can still rebuild. You can still get support and help, right? It's about attitude. Of course, do what you got to do, take legal action to get what was stolen or lost, but I'm not talking about stolen or lost. You are not kept poor because opportunity has been taken away from you, like that piece of pie has been yanked from you, because other people have monopolized the pie or the wealth and have put a fence around it. You may decide not to engage in certain kinds of business, but there are other channels open to you. At different periods, the tide of opportunity moves in different directions according to the needs of the whole and to the particular stage of social evolution which has been reached. Hold on. Okay. There is an abundance of opportunity for the man or woman who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. There is an abundance of opportunity for the man or woman who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. Office workers, either as individuals or as a group, are not deprived of opportunity. The workers are not being kept down by their masters, by the powers of big businesses, and the conglomerates. As a group, they are where they are because they do things in a certain way. Here we go again. doing things in a certain way. When they begin to do things in a certain way, the working class can become the master class. The law of wealth is the same for it as it is. The law of wealth is the same for it as it is for all other groups. Workers will remain where they are as long as they continue to do as they do. The individual worker, however, is not held down by the ignorance or the mental slothfulness of one's class. This individual can follow the tide of opportunity to riches. This book will create conscious awareness of the great secret of life. No one is kept in poverty by a shortness in the supply of riches. There is more than enough for all. Just notice what you feel when you hear that. There's more than enough for all. There's an abundance for everybody. You have your own pie. It's so polar opposite to what we've been raised with and taught. No one is kept in poverty by a shortness in the supply of riches. There is more than enough for all. A palace as large as the Capitol in Washington could be built for every family on earth from the building material available in the United States alone. Under intensive cultivation, this country could produce enough wool, cotton, linen, silk, and food to clothe and feed each person in the world. The visible supply is practically inexhaustible, and the invisible supply really is inexhaustible. Everything you see on earth is made from one original substance, out of which all things proceed. New forms are constantly being made, and older ones are dissolving, but all are shapes assumed by one thing. Everything's energy. Everything's energy. I was just talking on a coaching call the other day. One of my clients, she had a huge win. She has been, doing her mindset work and positive and self-concept, self-image work. I have an itch. And she just got a new car, a nice car, like a BMW. And she's brand new. She's like, I've never gotten myself a new car. It feels so good. She goes, I know it's material and I've never done anything for myself. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. The car is a symbol. The car is an energetic force that you are choosing to engage with, and it represents so much more. It represents how you see yourself. It represents your hard work. It represents your new vibration and your new frequency. So when we change, the material world changes. Like when your self-image changes, like you start dressing different, you start wearing different clothes, like you wear earrings or whatever it is for you. You might wear a new, what are they called? Cufflinks, as for men? It's different for everybody. You might get a new set of underwear. You might get a new kitchen set. I don't know, whatever your thing is. You might paint your room, redo it, move. Your material world changes when you change this. But anything in the material world is created from this. Energy, your mind. This phone, we talk about that a lot. This is pure energy. It's 4:44. Boom. That is Saint Archangel Jophiel. Okay, so when you put under a microscope any physical mat, this book, it'll be vibrating very, very fast. It just appears to be solid. It's vibrating so fast that it's solid. Everything in this physical universe at its core, at its quantum level, is just energy, pure energy, vibrating so fast that we see it solid and we see it real. So he's saying, there is no limit to the supply of formless stuff or original substance. The universe is made out of it, but it was not all used in making the universe. Let's go back up here. He says, D. Wallace says, everything you see on earth is made from one original substance, pure energy, out of which all things proceed. New forms are constantly being made, like the cell phone, like the new iterations of the phone, or however we're probably going to have iPhones chipped in our ear. We're not going to need to hold one, because we're going to look back at these and say, oh my God, I remember when these are like paperweights. They're so big and blocky and heavy. Can you believe we used to carry these around? That's what we're going to say. So they change forms, new forms, constantly being made, old ones dissolving. There is no limit to the supply of formless stuff or original substance. The universe is made out of it, but it was not all used in making the universe. The spaces in, through, and between the forms of the visible universe are permeated and filled with the original substance, with the formless stuff, with the raw material of all things. 10,000 universes can still be made, and even then, the supply of universal raw material will not be exhausted. No person, therefore, is poor because nature is poor or because there is not enough to go around. Nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Original substance is alive with creative energy and is constantly producing new forms. Let me read that again. Nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Original substance is alive with creative energy and is constantly producing more forms. When the supply of building material is exhausted, more will be produced. When the soil is exhausted so that foodstuffs and materials for clothing will no longer grow upon it, it will be renewed or more soil will be made. When all the gold and silver has been dug from the earth, if human beings are still in such a state of social development as to need gold and silver, more will be produced from the formless. The formless stuff responds to the needs of humans. It will not let them be without any good thing. Isn't that wild? Like, we didn't always have money, green paper, and discs of metal. That was not the currency. And as we see more with electronic, like crypto and stuff like that, like I'm going to be traveling, so I have my euros. I love the smell of money. Anyways, we're not going to need these paper anymore. We're not going to need that paper anymore. Maybe it's a chip on our finger or something that has our balance on it. I mean, it's going to be crazy in the future. So actual paper, physical money, I mean, maybe gold bars still, but think about that. It's going to change. If we dig, what if we dig out all the gold bars and all the, maybe that's not going to be worth anything anymore. You know, salt used to be a very expensive commodity. That was money. That was currency. It's not anymore. So it changes. This is true of man collectively. The race as a whole is always abundantly rich. If individuals are poor, it is because they do not follow a certain way of doing things, which make the individual person rich. The formless stuff is intelligent. It is a material which thinks. It is alive and it is always impelled toward more life. That's what Napoleon Hill called the ether. The stuff that's, say, I'm a physical body and this is a cup, right? It might disappear because of the green screen. Look at that. Anyways, the space between, look at that. How cool. But if you think about it, this is what it really looks like. There's not really a cup. It's pure energy. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Oh my God, how cool. Anyways, so between me and the computer, this is the thinking stuff that permeates and penetrates, as well as Steve Waddle says. This is the ether with my energies being carried through this computer screen to you. You can feel that energy. Even if you're watching the replay, it's locked in here. You're feeling my energy. How does it feel? I'm excited. It's Friday. All right, we'll end there. We'll finish chapter 3. We'll finish chapter 3 right now. There's only a couple sentences. The formless stuff is intelligent. It is a material which thinks. It is alive and is always impelled toward more life. It is the natural and inherent impulse of life to seek to live more. It is the nature of intelligence to enlarge itself and the quality of consciousness to seek to extend its boundaries and find fuller expression. The universe of forms has been made by formless living substance, throwing itself into form in order to express itself more fully. We can take the formless, an idea, energy, pure energy, and we can focus on it, and it will become, through our thoughts, emotions, actions, a physical thing. So again, this was an idea. This was a formless substance. This was an idea, an intangible, nobody could see idea. and it was thought about and it was acted upon and it was bit by bit. Everybody came together to build. Now we have it in our hand. Everything is first a formless idea. And if we give it enough energy, attention, and focus and take the action, it will become manifest in this physical world. Then we can see it. The universe is a great living presence, always moving inherently toward more life and fuller functioning. Nature is formed for the advancement of life. Its motive is the increase of life. For this reason, everything which can possibly minister to life is bountifully provided. There can be no lack unless God is to contradict himself and nullify his own works. You are not kept poor by a shortness in the supply of riches. It is a fact, which I shall demonstrate a little further on, that even the resources of the formless supply are at the command of any man or woman who will act and think in a certain way. The great secret of life is available to all. This can be very confronting and trippy if you've never heard this. It could be like, girl, you crazy. That's just woo-woo. Look at the world, Carla. People are starving. Yes. But is that because there's a limit? No, he just said that. Are people starving in this world because there's a lack of food? There's an abundance of food. Look at, especially the United States, it's like gluttony central. There's plenty of food in this world to feed the whole world. It's a mindset, it's an idea, and it's terrible. There is plenty of food so that everybody is satiated. There's plenty of material that everyone can be clothed. Are people hungry and without clothing because there's not enough to go around? No. It's because our race of human beings don't get it completely. So it's unfortunate. It's outrageous. And I know there's a lot of people doing great work to ensure that nobody dies of starvation. Like, who on this planet Earth, think of aliens, if aliens thought like those people on the planet Earth are letting people starve to death on a planet that is full of food and resources? That's insanity. Or be cold when they could have socks on their feet, right? It's like, you know? So we can always make a change. I am really passionate about that. I donate to charity water so they can build wells. I do, there's like Women for Women International to help them through, food, clothing, all that kind of stuff through their education. I'm a big sister for Big Brother, Big Sister. So, what else? Unstoppable Foundation, I donate to that, to build schools in Africa and different places. And so we don't have to do it all, but whatever pulls on your heart to help in whatever way. It could be through education, through food, through clothing, donating, warm meals at the soup kitchen. I used to work at the LA Mission, but I couldn't hang, man. I was not given that grace. It was rough. It was really rough. I wasn't given that grace to work there. But God bless people who were. I remember, I think her name was Barbara. Barbara. I should look her up. She was a woman. She was a intimidating, but woman full of faith. She was given the grace, let me tell you what, to deal with that population on Skid Row. It was very, very tough. Mental health issues, addiction issues. Tough crowd. But yeah, so let's do what we can. Let's do what we can to help. We don't have to do it all, but do what you can. And know that no one's taking anything from you. I mean, if someone's actually physically taking something from you, get help, reach out for help. But other people's success does not in any way affect your capacity to be successful. That's a mindset that is needed if you want to be successful, because if we want to resent people and point fingers and because they're successful now I'm not, or they have all the money so I don't have it, it's like will get you nowhere fast. Even if that's what it seems like and it's been your experience, try to do work on that. See if you can go for it anyway, in any way you can. If you're able-bodied and able to do that, or get the help you need again. But I hope you enjoyed that. That was chapter 3. We are flying through these chapters. I hope you enjoyed. I did a video yesterday about toxic empathy and how everybody's glued to the news, kind of about different things, but you can watch that. Mental health issues are seriously real. Vicarious trauma, when it comes to watching all of the nasty news and media, even if it's true, you have to have boundaries with yourself. If you can't handle it, you can't. You weren't given that grace. Don't force yourself to do it. I used to feel really guilty about that. Like I can't. Again, I donate and I help and I support my local communities, and I do the best I can. And I can't. My nervous system can't take knowing every single thing that's happening in this world. I wasn't designed and built for that. Maybe other people are stronger than me, but I have to be honest with myself and protect my nervous system and help where I can, right? Because to feel helpless and hopeless is not going to help anybody. So I got these, I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if I could put a thing behind it. I got these cute little, oh, this is green. That's hilarious. No, it's not going to work. Like a little, what's it called when you put a coaster, Carla? Can you see that? It says Big Brother, Big Sister. Anywho, okay. I gotta go for a walk. I gotta get out in nature. Love you. Hope you have a beautiful evening. Happy weekend. Happy Friday. I'll see you tomorrow because she don't quit. Can't stop, won't stop.